with Camping with Corgis, and today we're going to walk through setting up our 2007 Fleetwood Niagara. And in this condition, we've just disconnected from the vehicle. We're slightly nose up. One of the biggest safety things is before you disconnect this from your vehicle, once you get it in your spot, you're going to want to make sure that your vehicle is level side to side before you disconnect, and that your wheels are chocked. So here we have chocks in front and in back of our wheels. If you look inside our forward compartment, this is where we keep the following equipment. We have the speed set up for doing and undoing our stabilizers. We'll walk through that. We have our hand crank for lowering or raising our stabilizers and for raising and lowering the tent. You'll find 4 heavy-duty pads to put the stabilizers on. These are good, high-quality rubber pads. We have a ramp, so if you're, it's to set you up being level left to right. So if you were slightly low on the right-hand side of the vehicle, you could back up the trailer onto this and hopefully level it out. To check all of that, we have a level. To protect the camper against bad campground power, we also have a surge protector included. We have a drinking water hose and a water pressure regulator, which I'll talk about the importance of later. So here we have our level. If I set it up on top of the camper and you look at it, you can see that we're fairly level side to side. Then we'll check it forward to aft, and you can tell right here that I'm a little bit nose high. So I can look at that and I can lower the camper using the tongue jack. So to the left is lower, to the right is raised. I just keep an eye on that bubble. There it goes, it's nice and centered. Good enough. After the camper is level, forward to aft and side to side, then we'll lower our stabilizer. So if you have your drill, just lower it until you get firm contact. I'll go ahead and I'll lower the other 3. Now we'll raise the top of the camper. It's important that you unlatch all 4 latches. Don't get distracted at this point. All 4 latches are undone. Now we'll raise the roof. To raise the roof, you use your handle. The drill doesn't provide enough torque to raise this top. You want to make sure that it's fully engaged. Double check all your latches, because this roof is raised with a cable system. And if you try to raise it with one of those latches, then you'll break the cable. Ask me how I know that. I've done it once before. Right? Then you crank
Not 50.
And this is why you want the stabilizers down, because when you pull out these big king-size beds, pull them straight out, the camper could tilt back on you. So once these are down, we'll show you how to set them up. So to set up these bunks, you want to make sure these are pushed all the way out. Up here you have a bar. Carefully remove that bar. It's on this slide right here. You're going to put the bar up against this bolt, lift up on the rack and cinch it in. And you do the same on the other side. I normally just throw a shoulder right into it. We'll go around, we'll do the front. It's almost identical, we won't film that. So now we have both the beds slid out and locked. Now it's time to bring out our slide out. The slide out is also where you'll find the outdoor shower right here underneath this cover. But to bring out the slide, it's pretty easy. You just take these two levers, turn them 90 degrees, use your handles, and gently pull out the slide until it stops. It's as easy as that. Now we're going to set up the inside of the camper. You have what we call your shepherd's hook, and what we're going to do is we're going to push out the bow at the end. The bow will have two small screws on it to mark the center. So you find those, you attach the little C-clamp between those, and you just push out the bow. There's a small circle up here. You just gently push and insert. For the slide out, it's the same thing. You pick up the bow, you have a much smaller hook, you connect it, gently push it out, and connect it. Now we're going to set up the door. The door is one of the main structural components of the roof while it's raised. So it's not only convenient to have a front door, but it's also what holds the roof up in case one of the straps break. So to bring it down, you're going to pull it out of this little lock right here, bring it down. Then we have these two snaps. There's also a wire track that runs above it. So to bring the door down, it's pretty easy. So you just unsnap one, then the other. Then gently bring the door down. To fit right into the slide. We'll bring this up underneath the curtains. There's two latches right here. And now your door's installed. Once your tent is raised, we have the bows out, then it's simple enough. You just go around the outside of the camper. You connect all the bungee cords underneath. Then you walk around the side. So we've done up our bungee cords on each end. Then you go through with your Velcro around the camper. And you secure down your Velcro. Then you just follow the camper all the way around to get it done. Of course, Ranger does not look impressed. Now we're going to talk about hooking this up for full hookups. The first thing we're going to talk about is your potable water. Now when hooking up potable water, you want to make sure that you have a drinking water only hose. So included is a high quality hose and a pressure regulator. The pressure regulator is important because you never know if you're going to have low water pressure at the campsite or that the water pressure is 100 pounds. I've heard horror stories of people who have hooked up their potable water and blown every water line inside their coach because the water pressure was over 90 psi. So this will cut your water pressure down to about 40 pounds. It's got a flow arrow on it. On the coach, you'll have a city water, which is right here, and you have a potable water tank fill, which is located right here. So this does have a small potable water tank on it that you could use for like washing dishes, flushing the toilet, etc. And you could just fill the tank. So to connect these, simply screw in your potable water hose here, attach this to the faucet, your water outlet, and connect the hose. When storing it, I normally just connect it all up hand tight. Once you have your water on, you want to come to your hot water heater. The hot water heater in this unit is automatic. Really nothing special that you have to do. And I vent it through the relief valve. I lift this lever and I vent the hot water heater. And what that does is it gets all of the air out of the hot water heater. So when I get a solid stream of water, I'll shut it. This hot water heater is either propane or electric. So if you're on full hookups, to save propane, I use the electric hot water heater, and the switch for the electric hot water heater is located right down here at the forward end. There's your on-off switch. This would be your propane burner if you were using propane. Shore power is located right here. Just a retractable line. This hooks up to 30 amp power at the campground. Included with the camper is our surge protector. So this will protect the electrics in the camper if there is some kind of surge or if the power at the pole is bad. That happens. You know, you never know in some of these private campgrounds. So this is just a good insurance policy. This end would plug into the power pole at the campground. You would plug this in. It's as easy as that. When you're done, you disconnect everything. Push this back in. Close the door. You'll also have coax if you're going to hook up cable TV or whatnot. Located right behind the slide is your gray water dump and your black water dump. Here's the cap. The sewer hose is located in the bumper. Right here. So you always want to make sure you wear gloves when you're handling that. But that's where the sewer hose is located. Simply connects via this blade connector. Dump your black water first, then your gray water. Now to set up the rest of the camper, this Fleetwood also has its own private bathroom, which is great to have in a pop-up. So you just bring up the wall, just slides up, pushes in, latches down, bring up the other wall, you bring it out, latch it in. The door sits on top of the dinette when you're traveling down the road. You have this small lip on the bottom Goes right here on the door ledge. And now you're all set to use the bathroom in private. It's a nice little wet shower. So there's a shower curtain and a porcelain toilet that flushes. The gray water tank on this unit isn't very big. It's probably several gallons, and the same for the black water tank. So if you're at a site with full hookups, you're going to want to dump that tank about once a day, or you're going to be in for a big surprise when things start coming back up the drain. Now we're going to walk through the kitchen of our Niagara. What makes these great, these high-sided pop-ups great, is you have a full-size kitchen, you have a full kitchen in it. So you have a range top. We've walked through how to set up the propane. So what you want to do, once you initially open up the propane, is come to the range top, put it in light, use your lighter, and light your burner. Once your burner's lit, then all of your propane lines are purged. Your heater will work, your hot water will work on propane, and the stove will work. This is also equipped with an oven. Inside there is a pilot light. You would move that to the pilot position, push it in, and light the pilot prior to using the oven. This is your refrigerator. It's a good size, like a dorm size refrigerator, and it will run on propane, electrical, or battery. What we normally do prior to leaving is we'll have the unit plugged in overnight. We'll get everything nice and cold inside the refrigerator before loading it. And then normally it will stay cold till we're at the campground. If you're going to travel a little bit further, you could put it into battery, and then that will run off the 12-volt house battery. I don't recommend dry camping and having this in 12-volt. You'll run down that battery really quick. If you're dry camping, you could go to propane. You can hear it lighting right now. And it would cool on propane. Do not use this as you're going down the road, however, because what happens is there's a flame that heats a tank with a refrigerant in it. If the unit is rocking back and forth, that flame's going to tend to stay straight up or maybe move around, and there is a chance that you can have a fire inside the camper as you're traveling down the road. So I would recommend that you always secure your propane when you're going down the road. Shut off both of those tanks. Do not travel with it in propane. Only use that for when you're dry camping. Use electrical if you have full hookups, and use battery if you're hooked up traveling down the road, if you wanted to keep your food cool. But like I said before, we normally get it cooled down, put our food in it, keep it shut, and the food is still cold for when we get to our campsite, which is normally 1 or 2 hours away. But I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to put it to off. So it has off, propane, electrical, and battery. And that's your little refrigerator. It has a freezer and a couple different racks. So this is a lot bigger than what you'll normally find in a pop-up. Just as you walk inside the camper, you'll notice that we have switches on your left-hand side as you walk in and your right. On your left as you walk in, we have it labeled, it's for the water pump. This is used for when you're dry camping and you've filled your potable water tank up full of drinking water or water just to wash dishes. On the right-hand side, you have your light switch. So this provides power to your light. So if that is not on, your lights will not work. But they don't automatically come on. So you can turn on one light or both lights. That's the same for all of the fixtures. This camper is equipped with LED lighting that will let you do that on the house battery a lot longer. This is your electrical panel. You simply open it up. In here you'll find all of your breakers for your 110 volt side and your fuses for the 12 volt side. This is also where your main GFI outlet is. And next to it, if you were going to use the hot water heater on propane, this is where you would turn it off and on. So that's on, this is off. This is your thermostat for your propane heater. It has off and heat. You can turn it up or down. Works just like the one in your home.